Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And Xavier Woods, of all people, has just called wrestling fans entitled infants. If there's ever been a reason to stop watching this garbage, it would probably be right at this moment. You know, how great would it be if after this statement was released, that this guy, causes like 1 million more viewers, or maybe even like more realistically like 500,000 or 250,000 people to not watch Raw or SmackDown the following week. This guy would be in the doghouse. And here's the thing, it's like you think about all these wrestlers, like this guy, you could tell, has a really big mouth. He's one of the few people that they actually allow for him to shoot a little bit when he's on the mic. That they allow him to ad-lib a bit. And, Xavier Woods doesn't come across as a tough guy. He doesn't come across as, somebody who could be a world champion, who could be a main eventer, who could be a long-time draw. So, to say something like this, and I'm going to read his exact quote. Now, I will, to be fair, say that there's a little bit of paraphrasing, and I hate when they do this, and I guess we would have to have a whole video to be able to see exactly what he said. So, he was talking to the Manila Bulletin, a Filipino newspaper, when they did a tour over there recently, or it's a press conference, whatever the case may be. He goes on to say, when people talk about the difference between the organizations, not even organizations between like NXT and the main roster. So when they say like, oh man, TakeOver killed it, SummerSlam, this is going to suck. It's on the same company. What is there to complain about? What is there to complain about? Like, are you serious? That people are saying that, like, why is one Porsche? Now, I disagree, quite frankly. Every single time I watch NXT, I'm fucking bored. The most recent thing I've seen from NXT was that other big black guy that Lars Sullivan faced off against. That was a pretty good match. I enjoyed that. So there's a few people that seem kind of cool, like Aleister Black. I know a lot of people were trying to get me to watch more Aleister Black. So there's a few people, but we all know when they come onto the main roster, they're going to suck. They're going to downplay them. They're going to bury them. So that is what there is to complain about. This NXT is developmental. Whether you want to make it out to be a separate promotion or not, they're performing in front of 500 people, 1,000 people tops, whatever the case may be. When they do a pay-per-view at the Barclays, okay, so that's the exception. But it's getting them ready so they can eventually go to the main roster. Otherwise, there's really not, they said with NXT, they lose money with them. They're not really gaining any money. All what they put into the production, everything, they're not getting any of that money back. They're not profiting off of NXT. It's actually a loss for them. They have to write it off as a loss at the end of the year. So, that's why they keep NXT. They need to keep it, try to make as much money as they can off of it as possible to try to get as close to even as they can. But at the end of the year, they don't even see a dime. So, when they waste all that time developing these guys, and then when they get to the main roster, they shit on them, that's where the complaints come in. So he continues, you just got an awesome wrestling show on Saturday night. You just had an awesome wrestling show on Sunday. Well, most people usually say, like, that that the NXT shows are better, so they're not saying that. Your interpretation of awesome is your opinion of the show. I'm sure because you're performing on those Sunday shows on that WWE pay-per-view, you're obviously going to be pretty proud of it, So then you're going to watch Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Tuesday. Then NXT was continue. What are you complaining about? And then, like, you can watch New Japan. You can watch AAA. You can watch so much wrestling from all corners of the world. And it's all awesome. And it's all good. it's just all good. It's just all positive. I mean, Jesus Christ. What a fucking nerd. It's all different guys and girls portraying their form of art that they love, that they want to give to you. And I'm sure that Dave Meltzer and Wade Keller are like fully on board with this shit, and Brian Alvarez and Ryan Satin, they'd all be on board with this. Woods also said that as a performer, it hurts to be criticized, and he gives his maximum effort. Woods said fans who complain about wrestling come off as entitled infants. That's the writer of the article here on Wrestling Inc., which, by the way, I got this article from. So, but he would actually say, this isn't a direct quote from him. So anytime anyone complains about wrestling, it's so annoying to me because people come off as these entitled infants. Jesus Christ, like, you know, these people go to your show, and, you know, I hate them. You know, like, I hate the hecklers and everything. But, like, when Xavier Woods cuts a promo, you know, when he talks, he's usually, like, playing up to the smarks. So, he has no right to complain. And, like, name-calling? Is this really what you want to do? Like, and is WWE gonna, like, let this slide? So, then he says, because in reality, wrestling hurts so bad. And then we're hurt. We're hurting ourselves to entertain the masses. And sometimes the masses want to tell us how much it sucks. Well, no one is saying that you have to get hurt. That's your choice, that you want to do all those high spots. That's your choice, that you want to appeal to these smarks. And maybe if you didn't do all those spots, maybe if you didn't play up to that segment of the audience, you know, if this was still the Attitude Era crowd and everything, people don't even want to see that shit. They weren't even into that shit. So, you know, you talk about it hurting. You know, of course, there's always going to be wear and tear on the body, but ask Bret Hart about getting hurt during a wrestling match. That's not supposed to happen. If you're getting seriously injured in your matches, you're doing something wrong. You're not working with your opponent. It's a work. It's fake. It's not supposed to be real. It's not UFC. Now, I get that, you know, people, when they heckle during a match, it's rude, it's obnoxious. These guys are putting their bodies out there. You can't discredit him for saying that. But to go full force and call the fans, who they're catering to, by the way, that's the funny thing about what he's saying. This product, they cater to these indie fans. They do, and that's why they're working this type of style. That's why there's so many concussions. So to call those fans entitled infants, I mean he's right. He's absolutely right what he said, though. These people are gonna go right back, and they're gonna watch Raw, and they're gonna watch SmackDown, and they're gonna watch NXT, and they're gonna watch all these and you see he's like saying this. He's basically saying, like, they have no lives. They're going to watch all this shit. Like, they've got all the time in the world. And that's, you know, that's pretty fucking ballsy to say. And he sounds like an asshole saying it, is what's really hilarious about this. And since they're banking on people, you know, that's why they haven't broken up the New Day. It's because of merchandise sales. I mean, you know, I might say, like, break this team up already in every single review I do that they're featured on the show. It really comes down to the merchandise sales. That's why they're scared that if they, you know, break them up or anything, they'll lose potential revenue. So, I mean, that's understandable up to a degree, but, you know, I always say, take a fucking chance. Do something different with them. Break them up. Whatever the case may be. But if they're banking on those same people to buy their merchandise, and I know children buy and everything, but let's be honest, a lot of adults do. You look at that audience and you see a lot of grown-ass people in the audience wearing those stupid-looking unicorn horns and all that other garbage. So, is he out of his mind? He's actually going to call these people entitled infants? I mean, if you ask me, McMahon, somebody, they got to sit him down and say, Xavier, shut your mouth. I mean, here's the thing about this guy. He comes across as, you know, not really a big tough guy. Like I said, he's like a beta male, you know, very like nerdy guy. And you know for a fact that this guy wouldn't last a week, maybe, you know, a month tops in a 1990s locker room. I don't even think maybe he would even be allowed into it. Can you imagine a guy like this in a locker room with Hardcore Holly or somebody like that, or Steve Blackman, you know, or Ken Shamrock? I mean, holy shit. I mean, wow. They're just saying those names, man. I think about it, I'm like, there would be no place for a guy like this. I mean, he really is talking tough for a guy who isn't even really that tough. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to insult the very people that give him a paycheck. I might sit here every week and talk about fans that This Is Awesome fans that are annoying as shit. But, you know, and I still hold by that wholeheartedly. But, you know, at the same rate, Xavier Woods needs to understand that these are the people that are paying the tickets, and the reason he's had all this success is because of New Day and the merchandise sales. Remember when he first got into WWE? He wasn't doing so hot. He came in and, you know, he was just like a real weird, like, goofball that no one particularly liked, and he was getting no reaction. So these people giving them the reaction, he owes them his livelihood. So, you know, he might want to keep that in mind before calling them entitled infants. What a fucking loser, honestly. I mean, you know, not defending the smarky fans, but hey, I gotta call a spade here. I mean, he's a fucking asshole. He's being an asshole to the umpteenth degree here. So guys, if you like this video, you like what I had to say, hit a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit a thumbs down and tell me why. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. Check out some of the other content I have posted here. And thank you for watching, guys. This has been your YWC Champ, and I'm signing out.